The purpose of this podcast is to educate and inform. It is no substitute for professional care by your doctor or your qualified healthcare professional. Never disregard or delay professional medical advice because of something you've heard on this podcast or in any linked material. Guests who speak on this podcast express their own opinions, experience, and conclusions. Dr. Shirley neither endorses nor opposes any particular opinion discussed on this podcast. The views expressed on this podcast have no relation to those of any academic, hospital, practice, institution, or other entity with which Dr. Shirley may be affiliated.
Welcome to Forever Fab, the podcast on fashion, the art of living, and all things beauty. This podcast is curated by Dr. Shirley Madea, MD, as the definitive source of holistic wellness through beauty.
The Forever Fab podcast values truth and authenticity. We encourage our guests to show up exactly as they are, as the best version of themselves. Please note, this podcast episode contains adult language. Thank you and enjoy. Welcome back to part 2 of this fabulous interview on the Forever Fab podcast. Jordie, what current or upcoming trends in fashion are you excited about?
Well, I must say, coming out of lockdown and this pandemic, I've always worn leggings with sweaters and boots, but I always hated leggings with like Uggs and flip-flops. But I will say what I am really excited about is this whole athleisure.
Yes.
I love this whole athleisure. I have my Nike leggings with the socks and it's like a whole new world for me. And it's perfect because I have kids. So on the weekends, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I don't have to feel like I'm getting all dressed up because I always get dressed up no matter what. Even if
I know that about you.
Even if I'm going to the playground, I would probably have a piece of fur. Like I am. So,
Jordie, let's meet for lunch. Oh my God, you're wearing a gown. I have friends like that. I know.
Exactly. So for me, I think this whole athleisure trends is great because it's comfortable, right? Yes. But it's still, you throw in a great sweater. You can throw in, and you can always have played with the sneakers. I just got an amazing coat by Nike Sakai.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So it's not just a Nike coat, but it's got like this faux fur frills going on. So it's all whacked out, but it's still fashion. It's Nike, but it's still fashion. Make it fashion.
That's right. It's comfortable, but it's, but it's fashionable and it makes a statement. So all of it.
Exactly.
All of it. And what do you hope the fashion industry will look like in 10 years? You mentioned it, you touched upon it a little bit earlier, but in 10 years, what do you want the fashion industry to look like?
I want to see more diversity. I think this is first and foremost.
Absolutely agreed.
See that these smaller brands get the recognition for their talent that they do, from Southeast Asia to Africa. I think that we should be really researching these small designers and helping them and giving them a platform for a voice.
Yeah.
I think that everything digital will be everything digital. So I don't see that going away anytime soon. Yeah. But I do want to see definitely more diversity. I think that we are making a headway, but there's still so much more that we can be doing.
Yeah. And I like what you said earlier about, as individuals, doing our part whenever we travel, support the local economy, look out for the local designers and support them in whatever way that you can. I do like that.
Yes.
And what do you do in your downtime, if you have any? I know you have 2 very active boys and you're working full time. So what do you do in your downtime?
I think that number one, and which is really on trend too now, is self-care.
Yeah.
So I have gained a great interest in, I don't know if you're familiar with Ayurveda.
Absolutely, I am.
And, Ayurveda has been around for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
From India.
Centuries, yes.
Yes. And I have been, yoga. I try to do a little bit of yoga. Right now I'm getting into Pilates a little bit.
Yes.
And, after having 2 kids, and they were very big kids, one was 10 pounds, one was 9.1 pounds.
Wow.
So
You do things in a big way, Jordie.
always, dramatic as I am. I realized that I always wanted to, I never have time to work out. And, I said to myself, even for this year, okay, I really need to start taking care of myself. I'm hitting 40 this year. And
Ooh, epic number.
exactly. And I definitely want to, I have this thing called diastasis recti, which a lot of
Yep.
women are not familiar. They don't know, they don't know, they know, they don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the OBGYNs, they don't prepare you for this.
Yeah.
Like you really shouldn't be running out to do crunches. And you really should be doing more Pilates, and you should be getting physical therapy. So right now I'm actually getting physical therapy for that.
Got it.
And then I'm looking into trying to start to do more Pilates.
Good.
Very good for, strengthening and
That's right.
long and lean lines in your body.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more of physical activity as much as when I get home, I'm just so exhausted.
I hear you. Well, when you get to the point where you have maximized and optimized your Pilates and core strengthening to help manage your diastasis recti, I know an amazing plastic surgeon who could help you with that.
Yes. I know. Seriously.
I'm just saying, just in case.
I know. And it's funny because I really wish that more women, like these doctors, would, let people know, women, they have to make them more aware that, either you have to get surgery or you have to go to physical therapy, but you can't just let it go like that. And
you can't just let it all hang out, can you?
Exactly. So that's my whole obsession right now.
Yeah. No, self-care, it should be an obsession. I agree with you. And so let's twist the, conversation a little bit and turn back to fashion. If I were to look in your clothing closet, what would you say you have too much of?
I would say coats.
Right?
I collect coats.
What is it? I think I have a coat obsession too. You can only wear so many coats.
You can only wear so many coats. And I just bought another coat. I don't need another coat. And
I haven't. So
I think that, especially living in New York, it's, we have more cooler weather than warmer weather. And the coat it's right. Like the first thing you see, a person is like their first, right? It's the first thing you see. So
it's like a first impression piece.
It's a first impression. So the coat, I always feel like it's so important to have a fabulous coat. And then underneath, I'll just have like a black turtleneck and like.
Got it.
But as long as the coat is fabulous.
Yeah.
I think that's
You're
good. You're good. You're good. I think I have too many coats. It's just getting a little bit crazy. I don't have any room in my closets.
And what would you say in your clothing closet you don't have enough of, if there is such a thing?
I know, honestly. Believe it or not, I do need more dresses, believe it or not. And I have too many sneakers. That's another thing that I have too many of. And I would say probably dresses. I wear a lot of knits because I like to be comfortable. As fabulous, I love to look fabulous, but I do like to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So if I do have a dress, it's probably like a knit dress. Yeah. But I do need to expand a little bit because I do love a lot of separates. So I always have a really nice blazer, lots of bottoms like jeans and skirts. But I definitely need more dresses.
Got it. And what about your beauty cabinet? If I were to look into your beauty cabinet, what would you say that A, you have too much of, and B, what you don't have enough of? Again, if there is such a thing.
Right. Well, like I said, I'm hitting 40 this year, and I do, I think I've taken my great genes from my parents for granted for a little bit too long. And now I have to look more into the beauty and skincare.
Yeah.
I have to expand a little bit more on that. Right now, I do have a good solid like makeup regimen of, you know,
Okay.
I use like Armani, and so I do have like a great like foundation and
Yes.
but I do need to, too much of, I don't think I have enough of beauty, actually.
Got it.
I need to
Got it. Like
explore a little bit more.
skincare.
Yeah, skincare. I definitely need a little bit more of that.
Again, I know this amazing plastic surgeon
Yeah,
who
exactly.
could totally help you out with that anytime.
Yes, you have
That
to,
I know. I'm all over that. And another question about beauty. What would you say is the one, I know it's hard, the one beauty product you absolutely cannot live without? One.
well, there is one, and I have to live out without it because they discontinued it.
What?
So it's this. I usually mix my foundation with like this other shimmer.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
shimmer kind of brings that glow to your
Yes.
face.
Yes.
Somebody discontinued it.
Yes.
Period. Like you can't find it. So I'm kind of in a wild.
Oh my gosh.
To find something that's equivalent. And I kind of found something by Sicily that's similar, but it's
Yeah.
not. But it's also for your the skin tone and to give that glow.
Yes.
And I just like, I can't. Another one that is really important to me is the like kind of like a blush, like that's
Yes.
like a glow.
Yeah.
A highlighter that kind of like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
kind of like a sun
The contouring thing.
glow.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think
I
that's
got you.
really, it's a nice like highlights certain areas of your face.
Got it. And I know you mentioned a few articles of clothing throughout this interview that you really love. But what one sort of type of clothing could you absolutely not live without? Like one.
Oh, my blazers.
Okay.
No, my blazers are you can't mess with those.
Yep, can't mess with the
For
blazer. And you wear them so well.
Yeah, you know what it is that, I think especially the young people today, they don't understand, like, it's nice to be trendy,
Yes.
but it's one thing to be trendy and to be on trend.
Ah,
Okay, I think there's a big difference here.
okay.
I think
What
that
do you think the difference is?
the difference is that you can buy classic pieces that are on trend,
Mhm.
right? A blazer will never go out of style. So you can have a blazer that has, maybe a strong shoulder that might be on trend, but it's not trendy.
Got it.
Things like those big white sneakers that everyone's wearing, that's
Yeah.
trendy. That's going to go out by next year.
Yeah.
But if you get a nice solid blazer that might be on trends, right?
Yes.
You can
Yes.
take it out 20 years from now and you're not going to be outdated. It's still
Got
always
it.
in style. I think that's a major, major myth that people don't understand.
Yes.
You can always take it out and wear it with a dress, with, leather leggings, whatever you may be. It's just, you can never go wrong with blazers.
So would on trend be another way of saying like classic or
Yeah, I would say
right?
it's more of I would say it's classic, but it's
something that never goes out of style?
Never goes out of style. Never goes out of style. But there might be an element in that classic piece that is within trends.
Got it. Yeah.
on trends right now.
Yes, I
But
see.
It's not trendy, meaning that it's
Right.
not going to go out right away. But
Right.
there'll be an element of it that's, like I said, like the strong shoulder or
Right.
the color or
Yeah. Got it. And so, Miss Jordie, fashion stylist extraordinaire, how would you define style?
Style is a way of expression, a way to stay true to yourself.
I love that.
A way of expressing your mood, your feel. It's just expressing you and giving celebration to you. And when you walk into a room, you kind of give people an idea of who you are by your style. I remember that when I worked at Saks, and I wasn't wearing just one brand, I was kind of wearing whatever I felt was in my closet. I would collect the most amazing pieces. And I remember going to work every day and really giving it my all, really really giving it my all. And people were like, where are you going? And I'm like, this is how I feel today. I want to feel fabulous every day. Why not?
Yeah. Good for you.
I feel, even when I go to pick up the kids from school, all the moms are looking at me like, what is she wearing?
Where's she going?
Where's she going? Everyone's getting their Lululemons, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear, I'm gonna look like this today. This is how I treat my children.
Yeah.
This is how I
That's
drop
right.
my children off.
Right. This is me.
This is me, and I don't think anyone should ever shy away from that. If you like to, be dramatic in your wardrobe, please do express yourself. I think that it sets you apart from everyone else, and because it sets you apart from everyone else, more opportunities might come to you.
Ooh, Jordie, I love the way you put that together. Right?
Yeah, it's true. It's always fun for me.
I mean, that is rich. Style is a form of expression. It's a way to stay true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It celebrates you and is a way for you to express who you are.
Yep.
And style, you said style sets you apart. Mm-hmm. And that may bring opportunities. Ooh.
It's true. It's very true.
I agree with you. Being in a field where fashion is not priority, right? I show up, whatever I'm wearing, I usually change out of into a uniform, whether it's scrubs or, something else, another kind of uniform, my white lab coat. So being in an industry where fashion isn't a priority, I have to admit that regardless of that, every day during my training and to this day, I show up with my best self. Yeah. And part of my best self is not only, being professional and doing a wonderful job and caring for my patients and obviously delivering fabulous results, but it's also how I present myself and how I show my patients, well, I'm feeling pretty fabulous, and I hope I help you to feel fabulous too. And the way that I'm going to show you that is not only with my work, if you allow me to do so, but how I present myself to you.
Exactly. And people trust you more too.
That's very interesting.
As a stylist, at least, because they see that you can dress yourself, right?
Yeah.
No, but really, because you see some stylists that they don't really put themselves together, but they do have that talent.
Yes.
So what I think the way I was able to get this clientele and this following that I accumulated over the years was because of the way I showed up. Right. You always have to show up a certain way. And my mom has always instilled that in me. I think I get my mom. It's like, don't go to school like a raggedy, like she's always
right.
Like everything pressed, everything,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And, and, especially as a Black girl and the only Black girl in like an all white school, like you always got to come correct and really show up being your best self.
Yes.
That is advice that I would give to every young woman, Black woman, always show up and male and men, because I will tell that to my little boys as well. You always show up as your best self.
Agreed. Agreed. That reminds me of stories. Well, not really a story, but the things that I used to hear when I was a child. Show up as your best self. Always be clean, neat, professional. Always, shower, clean underwear every day, if not twice a day, because you never know if anything were to happen and they bring you to a hospital and they have to strip you down. Your underwear better be clean.
This is verbatim. My parents said that verbatim.
Right. And then the other thing about, well, you're going on a flight. You're going to another country or another city, and you step off of that plane, and people in this other city or country are going to immediately look at you and perhaps make judgments. So you better come correct. You better represent. You better look right.
Exactly.
It's true. Love it. Great advice.
Yes. It's works. It's how I live my life.
Yeah.
And that I will pass on to my boys.
Good for you. Good for you. Now, speaking of advice, and to end this amazing interview, thank you so much for your time. The last question, Miss Jordie Samerson, extraordinaire, is called the Fab Five. And what are your top 5 fabulous recommendations, essentially for living a beautiful, fabulous, fashionable life? What are your top 5 recommendations? I'm going to write these down.
Yes, I will say, I think first and foremost, especially coming off this pandemic, is mental health. I think keeping your mind sound and finding out whatever that is to help you get through whatever it is, like through life pretty much right now. I think
Yes.
that whether it's yoga, whether it's, eating Ayurvedically, whatever it is, you need to figure it out and do it. And also with physical health, physical, mental, I think that's number one. And people should not put that on the back burner. I think that should be first and foremost right now, especially these times.
Yes.
The next thing is what I'm trying to do is skincare. I think that not only are you taking care of your insides, right? You do have to take care of your skin that's outside. And I think you would agree.
Yes. Yes.
That's definitely very, very important.
What's your number 3?
Number 3, I would say, is pretty much what I was saying before. When things open up again and people are allowed to explore and travel, I think that as much as I say to, there's so much that you could spend your money on right now. And I think people are really, on material things, I think that, yes, material things are amazing, but I think experiences are even more amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think saving up for, instead of a Balenciaga sneaker, why don't you just travel, go to Europe, go to Southeast Asia, go to Asia, travel the world. And like I said, within that travels, explore different cultures, open yourself, eat different foods, nourish your body, and shop locally. Right?
Yes.
Support those little brands. I think that's so enriching. And I know that even throughout my life, when I went to New Zealand, Australia, I mean, all those experiences really has helped me.
Yeah.
And you can have conversations with so many people from, I have so many people walking into the store from all over the world. So you can connect with them in another way.
Yeah.
Being aware.
Yeah.
I will say the next thing is I would bring it into food. Feed yourself with good food.
Yes.
Being that I was married to a chef, he has actually really helped me to learn how food really nourishes your body.
Yes.
So, especially in America where we don't have the best habits. But, in Europe, I will say that they're a little bit more conscious about what they're putting in, how things are being produced. They don't have as much pesticides going into their foods. And I think that being aware, even if you go to Trader Joe's and you buy organic, I think of spending a little bit more money on nourishing your body through food, through good food, is really, really, it's going to come out in your skin. It affects your whole system.
Yes.
So that's really, really important for me. And I love to eat. So, that.
I do too. And I agree with you because I tell people all the time, and I have mentioned several times on this podcast, that for me, in my opinion, good nutrition is the first rule of beauty.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because whatever you put into your body is going to come right out. You're going to see
one way or another.
Exactly. You're going to see it all in your pores.
And what is your number 5 fab tip?
Number 5 is, I would say, be true to yourself and try to love yourself. Try to enjoy life. I know right now it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
But, I think pick and choose your battles. Don't stress over. I think right now, especially, I think it's so important not to, if you have something small happening, just kind of brush it off, kind of embrace life for what it is. And, a lot of I've gone through a lot of challenges in the past few years. And I will say that on the tail end of things, what comes out is a beautiful butterfly, right? You have to have like this cocoon, this ugly cocoon. And what comes out of it is like a beautiful butterfly. So just know that when you go through challenges in life, God can bring you some real challenges, but sometimes it helps you grow to the person that you need to become.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I know that I've definitely experienced that firsthand.
Yeah.
Firsthand.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult when you're going through challenging times to remember or to even think, even think a little bit that perhaps the challenge is meant for you to transform.
Right.
And sometimes transformation doesn't come easily for folks, myself included. And so I have to be like hit upside the head, like, you're not listening, Shirley. How about some drama?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And if you're continuously ignoring certain signs,
Yeah.
and then something really big happens, because God's kind of like, okay, it's gotta move. You're not moving it,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna move it for you.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you don't want to move? We'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then so when you come into these challenges, just know there's a reason why. You may not know right then and there. And that's what I say to myself now. So when something big happens, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is happening for a reason. I don't know why, but I'm just going to go with the flow and kind of go through it, and just know that there's going to be something beautiful at the other side.
Wow. And on that note, folks, this ends our interview with the fabulous Jordie Samerson. Jordie, thank you so much for your beauty, your time, your intelligence, your stories.
Of course.
I would love to have you back whenever you would like.
Of course. I'd love to be back. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity for saying my story and speaking with you. You're fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so Fela, Jordie, at this point, you can sign off. Fela and I are going to do some technical stuff. I said I'm going to email you all the details.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I miss you, Jordie.
I miss you too. Hopefully we can get together soon.
I know, soon. I actually got my first vaccine, so I'm waiting a few weeks and
good.
Getting the next. But I just read another article saying, oh yeah, you can delay it now a few months with your second. It's still a bit of a mess.
I know it is. I know.
But stay well, stay healthy.
Thank you. You too.
A big hug and kiss to your boys for me and your family.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to you as well.
I'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right.
Big kiss. Bye, baby. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Fela.
Hey.
Hey, how long was that? Was that exactly an hour?
Hour and change, like an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay, so
definitely a two-parter.
Yeah, we'll definitely do 2 parts. We'll definitely do 2 parts on whatever days comes after. Whatever days come next. And so let me, at this point, record the outro like I normally do. And actually, I have to also do the intro. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So because I picked up at this week's episode is dedicated to, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll do the intro again, and we may as well save it in case, we run short on time again. And then we can just use it sort of the canned version.
Okay, I'll dip out while you do your thing. And if you mess up, just keep going and we'll edit.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks. Welcome to Forever Fab, the podcast dedicated to fashion, the art of living well, and all things beauty. I'm your host, Dr. Shirley Madere, the founder of the Holistic Plastic Surgery Philosophy and your purveyor of this definitive source of living a beautiful life. Thank you for joining this journey on the Forever Fab podcast. In this podcast, we like to have intelligent and fun discussions around some of the things that we love and that move us with joy, namely fashion, art, health and wellness, and the many faces of beauty. We keep it refreshing and real, educational but entertaining, scientific and fantastic. This week's episode is dedicated to style. Okay, that's the end of that. And that was specifically for Jordie's because her episode is dedicated to style. And then now I'll do the recap and the call to action. Forever Fab podcast with my guest, Jordie Samerson.
Hold on.
For more information about Jordie, follow her on Instagram. Oh,
Dr.
sorry.
Shirley.
Do it over. Yeah.
Yep, start that back over. The signal went out. You froze for the first 2 seconds. So just redo that one. Thank you.
Well, I noticed that my screen froze a couple of times during Jordie's interview, but all I did was I didn't move and I stayed silent and she was talking anyway. So hopefully her part didn't go out.
No, hers didn't.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was just
hers
my
didn't.
end, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. This brings us to our closure of this week's episode of the Forever Fab podcast with my guest, Jordie Samerson. For more information about Jordie, follow her on Instagram at Jordie Samerson. And you can also visit her website, jordiesamerson.com. As always, if you like this episode of the Forever Fab podcast, please share it and subscribe to the feed. For holistic beauty tips or to set up an appointment with me to discuss strategies to come back stronger and more fabulous and beautiful than ever, visit my website, elementsandgraces.com, and sign up for my newsletter or contact me. And for an online e-consultation on time, anytime, on your time, visit clicklift.com for wellness, plastic surgery, and beauty questions on the go. That's click-lift.com. Thank you for listening to this week's Forever Fab podcast episode. Until next time, stay beautiful and fabulous inside and out.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Forever Fab, the podcast on fashion, the art of living, and all things beauty, curated by Dr. Shirley Madeir, MD. Live beautifully and help make the world a more beautiful place.